The story begins, and we see Kanglan Star Eastern Domain, Howran City. And the protagonist of this story is sitting in the courtyard and relaxing, and a man is speaking to him. The artifact master said he has made the shared flying sword you requested, young master. The sample will be delivered soon. And his name is Gu Feng, eldest son of the Howran City Lord. And then a man comes to Gu Feng flying on a sword, and he says to Gu Feng, young master, the City Lord has ordered all young cultivators of Howran City above the 8th level of Qi condensation to gather in the council hall immediately. And Gu Feng says, what does that have to do with me? I'm not going. And Gu Feng is thinking, I've been in this world for 19 years. I started cultivating at 3 years old, and now I'm only at the 3rd level of Qi condensation. 8th level? That's a long way off. In my previous life, I worked hard just to save enough money to start a company, get it financed, and go public to get rich overnight. And Gu Feng says, even the 10th ranked member must go. And he is thinking, although no one respects me as the 1st ranked member, since my father specifically mentioned it, I can't skip it, or it would put him in a bad light. The elders and other members of the Gu family always look down on me, mocking me at every chance. I really don't want to attend such events. Then Gu Feng takes out a gold coin, and gives it to that man, and while leaving he is saying, let's go, Jiolong. Whether it's a blessing or a curse, we can't avoid it. And another man says, shall I fly you there? But Gu Feng says, no way. Who rushes to get scolded? Let them wait. On the other side, the council hall of the City Lord's mansion. And a discussion is going on about something in the council hall. And then Gu Feng comes to that place and everyone's eyes are on Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is saying to those people while coming inside, sorry. The journey was long, and my legs are weak. Sorry to keep you waiting, elders. Then we see Gu Feng's father, Gu Liantian, City Lord of Howran. And Gu Feng's father is saying, ahem. Now that everyone is here, let's begin the discussion. 3 days ago, the Immortal Envoy issued a divine order. A war between the Eastern Domain and the Southern Plains is imminent. Starting next month, every city under our jurisdiction must increase their monthly tribute by 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. And all the elders are saying, the spirit stone mines near Luoxia Mountain have drastically reduced production. City Lord, the 236 sects under our control are already struggling. The cultivators of Howran City will surely be disgruntled. And the City Lord says, how could I not know this? But as cultivators of the Eastern Domain, we must be loyal to the divine order. Does anyone have a good plan? And then there is silence at that place, and Gu Feng is thinking, these old guys usually hoard so many natural treasures, and now they all pretend to be poor at a crucial time. My father, as the City Lord, can't demand too much or he'll lose face. It looks like getting money from this group will be hard. And the City Lord says since there is no good plan, this matter will be temporarily set aside. Next, an elder has suggested removing Gu Feng from his rank in the sequence. What are your thoughts? And Gu Feng is thinking, the inevitable has come. And the elder is saying, Gu Feng has been ranked first in the sequence for many years without any achievements. He should give way. This child has been cultivating for nearly 20 years but is still weak, bringing shame upon us. And the City Lord says, although that may be true, Gu Feng has committed no crimes. Forcing him out of the sequence would be unfair. And we see a man, Gu Huai, Gu Feng's second uncle, Gu Liantian's half-brother. And the second uncle is saying, ahem. No crimes? Not necessarily. And the City Lord says, what do you mean by that? So the second uncle says there is a clear decree in Howran City that no one but the City Lord may establish a group of cultivators with military characteristics. Doing so is considered rebellion. However, as I know, Gu Feng recruited 3,000 cultivators under the name of establishing the Artifact Master Guild some time ago, and they are now stationed in the west of the city. Does this count as a crime? And after listening to second uncle, all the people living in the council hall are saying, that's a crime punishable by death. Such a person should have been removed long ago. This useless sequence member quietly caused such a huge problem. And after listening to them, the city lord says, "Do you intend to accuse my son of rebellion?" Then the second uncle says, "Big brother, you're overreacting. Gu Feng is your only son, and I also believe he wouldn't commit such a rebellious act. We just need to shut down the Artifact Master Guild and the Lone Treasury, and disperse those 3,000 cultivators. However, he can no longer retain his position in the sequence." And after listening to the second uncle, the city lord asks Gu Feng if he did all this. Then Gu Feng says, "Father, I have something to say. Second uncle's accusations, I cannot acknowledge. The 3,000 cultivators in the Artifact Master Guild are all deeply engrossed in artifact crafting. Their cultivation levels are so low that they couldn't possibly form an army." And the second uncle says, "Can low cultivation levels justify gathering without permission? You are disregarding the laws of Howren City." And Gu Feng says smilingly, "However, the Lone Treasury and the Artifact Master Guild were established with my father's support. Jiolong oversaw the entire process and can testify," and the man behind says that is indeed the case. And the second uncle looks back, and we see a man, Gu Chunfeng, Gu Feng's third uncle, Gui Kun's grandfather. And the third uncle says, twisting words and forcing logic, "You neglect proper cultivation and indulge in these unorthodox techniques. How can you still claim to be part of the sequence?" And Gu Feng says, "Third uncle, that's unreasonable. We cultivators spend spirit stones on our cultivation and battles. These spirit stones are our lifeline. Commerce is the way to control this lifeline. If you truly disdain worldly affairs, why not donate 50,000 top-grade spirit stones every month to ease my father's ever-worries?" But after listening to Gu Feng's words, the second uncle gets angry and says, "What does a brat like you know? 50,000 top-grade spirit stones is an enormous sum. How could I possibly come up with that?" And Gu Feng uses his space ring and he says, "Third uncle, you're not very capable." And light starts coming out of Gu Feng's space ring, seeing which third angle gets very shocking. And the city lord too, and all the people present at that place are left with open mouths when they see so many high-grade spirit stones behind Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is speaking to them, "But I, the young master, can come up with it. As an unfilial son, I can at least relieve my father's worries. This 100,000 top-grade spirit stones can temporarily solve Howren City's concerns." And the city lord becomes very happy after seeing so many high-grade spirit stones, and he is saying, "Haha, good. Truly my bloodline, well done." And Gu Feng says, "Third uncle, speaking of spirit stones, I suddenly remembered a debt. Steward Wu, where are you?" And then a man comes behind Gu Feng, mystic grade treasure, gold abacus. And he says, "Here, young master." On the second day of the third elder Gu Chunfeng's Dao companion, Madame Wang, went to the Lone Treasury, using a wisp of the third elder's soul as collateral, and borrowed 300 top-grade spirit stones, for a loan period of 6 months. On the 9th day of the 4th month, Madame Wang borrowed an additional FEV 100 top-grade spirit stones. On the 2nd day of last month, Madame Wang borrowed another 300 top-grade spirit stones. Young master, including principal and interest, Madame Wang owes a total of 2,100 top-grade spirit stones. And Gu Feng says, "Third uncle, were you aware of Aunt's debt? Third uncle, were you aware of Aunt's debt?" And third uncle says, "That wisp of my soul was supposed to be used for refining a magical treasure. How could it have been used as collateral? You brat, stop slandering me." And Gu Feng says, "If you plan to default on the debt, don't blame me for not sparing your face. Everyone. Here is the evidence Madame Wang left when she used the collateral." And third uncle is getting very angry, and Gu Feng is telling us what third uncle's wife was saying, "Boss Gu, lend me another 500 top-grade spirit stones. The newly released communication treasure, Feishin 6, is too tempting." And seeing this, third uncle's mouth starts bleeding, and he falls on the ground. And Gu Feng is smiling and saying, "Oh dear. Third uncle. Getting so angry isn't good for you. Spitting blood like that will cost you at least 10 years of cultivation, sigh." And then a boy comes in front of Gu Feng, and his name is Gu Kuan, second-ranked member of the Gu family, grandson of Gu Chunfeng. And he is saying, my grandfather, with his 8th level spiritual stage cultivation, was about to break through, and now it's all ruined by you. Gu Feng. As the 2nd ranked member of the Gu family, I challenge you. As the 1st ranked member, do you dare to fight me? And Gu Feng becomes serious after listening to Gu Kun's words, and he says, in terms of seniority, I am your uncle, and you are my nephew. In terms of status, I am a candidate for city lord. Who do you think you are? Uneducated brat, stop barking here and making a fool of yourself. And Gu Kun attacks Gu Feng with a silver flood dragon sword, and he is saying, you Qi condensation 3rd level waste, go die. And Gu Feng, seeing the attack coming towards him, is thinking, damn. My mouth got me in trouble. Who is this idiot that starts fighting without warning? Why hasn't father intervened yet? Could it be? But then Jiolong comes in front of Gu Feng, and stops Gu Kun's attack with just 2 fingers, and he is saying, dare to lay a hand on the young master. Are you tired of living? And Gu Kun is very scared because Jiolong has his sword, and his life is bound in it. And Jiolong destroys his sword, due to which blood starts coming out of Gu Kun's mouth. And then the city lord releases his power, and says to him, outrageous. Gu Kun of the family sequence, you dare act recklessly in the council hall against your kin? You are fined half a year's salary and will be confined to the reflection cliff for 1 year. As for the matter of Gu Feng's sequence position, let it never be brought up again. This meeting is adjourned. And Gu Feng says to the city lord, my dear father, I almost wet my pants today. This kind of lawless thug must be severely. And then 2nd uncle says, wait a moment. If I remember correctly, Gu Feng, as the 1st sequence, only has a Qi condensation level 3 cultivation. Our family sequence bears the legacy of Howren City's millennia. The 1st sequence is always a candidate for city lord. Gu Feng's low cultivation makes him vulnerable to ordinary assassins, making it hard for him to bear such a responsibility. City lord, do you truly intend to hand over Howren City to Gu Feng for personal reasons, despite his low cultivation? Where does this place Howren City's millennia of legacy? And where does this place the ancestors of the Gu family? And listening to 2nd uncle, the city lord is thinking, if I cannot break through to the nascent soul stage within a century, I will ultimately exhaust my lifespan. At that time, the burden of Howren City will fall to Gu Feng, but his cultivation is. And Gu Feng is saying, hey, it's not a big deal, talking so much nonsense, it boils down to despising my low cultivation, right? No problem. If 2nd uncle has the courage, then make a bet with me. And Gu Feng bites his finger with his mouth, and is ready to make a blood contract, and he is saying, give me 1 year. If I break through to the golden core stage, drop the matter of me stepping down. If I fail, I will willingly relinquish my position as the 1st sequence, leave Howren City, and never return. And 2nd uncle says it's easy to say, talking big comes without responsibility. And after listening to Gu Feng, the crowd is saying, Gu Feng must be crazy, breaking through to the golden core in 1 year. Who does he think he is? For a normal cultivator to advance from Qi condensation level 3 to the golden core stage, it takes at least several decades or even centuries. Even those with excellent talent, with family resources, take at least 5 to 6 years. 1 year? This guy has been stuck at Qi condensation level 3 for 10 years. And now he dares to talk nonsense, and 2nd uncle holds the blood contract, and Gu Feng is speaking to him. 2nd uncle, I've written it as a blood oath, do you agree or not? Meaning, Gu Feng is sitting in his courtyard, and there are many beautiful girls around him. And Gu Feng is speaking to one of his servants, young master, you just made a blood oath with 2nd elder, you should focus on your cultivation. And Gu Feng says, what's the rush? It's still too early. Then Gu Feng says to Jiolong, has the person we contacted arrived yet? How's their strength? So Jiolong says they're about 3 to 4 miles away, almost here. As for their strength, their true essence is abundant, and their sword intent is sharp. The rumors are true, and Gu Feng says, in that case, no matter what happens next, don't intervene. I have my own brilliant. And then a person comes to this place with lightning speed, and looking at him it is not clear whether it is a boy or a girl. But it is a girl. And she is saying, "Are you the one who summoned me here?" And her name is Yi Tianchen, and we see Gu Feng, who falls down from his chair because Yi Tianchen has come very fast. And Gu Feng is laughing and saying, "Cough, yes, it's me. I didn't expect Taoist Yi to be so straightforward. I'll get straight to the point then." Yi Tianchen, born in Fengming Village, Shenzhou, Eastern Domain, was fortunate to be accepted into Songjian sect on Fengming Mountain at a young age. At 11, you reached the 9th level of Qi condensation. Because you offended the 3rd young master of Fire Phoenix City, you were schemed against and ambushed. While fleeing, you discover an immortal tomb in Fire Phoenix City's territory and, by chance, obtained the inheritance of the tomb's master. You then severely injured 3 of the younger generation from Fire Phoenix City and killed 5, including that 3rd young master. Murongjingi, the city lord of Fire Phoenix City, was furious and massacred your entire sect. You took a lone risk, wielding your sword to the heavens, defeating Murongjingi with your golden core cultivation, saving your childhood sweetheart, and escaping unscathed. Since then, you disappeared without a trace, and after listening to Gu Feng, Yi Tianchen takes out the sword and puts it on Gu Feng's neck and says, "So, do you want to take me down and present me to Fire Phoenix City?" And Gu Feng, while removing Yi Tianchen's sword from his neck, tells her, "Don't be so tense. Although Fire Phoenix City reported to the Eastern Domain Divine King and issued a kill order for you, I have no ill intentions and don't want to get involved. I summoned you today, Taoist Yi. Do you remember a month ago, you borrowed Jade Purity Immortal Dew from the Lone Treasury?" And Yi Tianchen says, "Eh? Why do you have the soul contract from the Lone Treasury?" And Yi Tianchen is saying, "So, can I get the Jade Purity Immortal Dew with this? If you trick me, don't blame me for killing you all." And Gu Feng is saying, "Because I am the owner of the Lone Treasury. If I had known you were a female cultivator, I would have loaned you 50% more. TSK, this photography skill is far inferior to Teacher Chen's. It seems I'll have to personally train you in the future." And Yi Tianchen gets very angry, and she gets ready to attack Gu Feng, and even kill him. And Yi Tianchen attacks Gu Feng, and Gu Feng asks Zhou to save her. And Zhou says, "You said not to intervene, young master. A promise is a promise." And he thinks, it's good for the young master to suffer a bit, so he can understand the importance of cultivation. And Gu Feng says to Yi Tianchen, "Taoist Yi, please show mercy. Let's talk this out. How about I waive your interest?" But Yi Tianchen says, "You scum of the cultivation world, die." And Gu Feng thinks, I'm doomed. Her favorability must be in the negatives now. Looks like I have to use my trump card. And Gu Feng says, "Nightmare of freeloaders, abyss of gamblers, and the ultimate concept of evil in the future world. Come forth, the strongest pay-to-win system." And then as soon as Gu Feng says this, the system comes out, and she is saying, "You haven't summoned me in a long time." And Gu Feng is thinking, if it weren't an emergency, I wouldn't want to see you ever. As a transmigrator, having a system is standard. But I never expected it to be a super rip-off pay-to-win system. Not only does using the system randomly deduct large amounts of my own assets, but the worst part is, if I don't complete the final mission before the progress bar fills up, the system will devour my soul, making me work for her endlessly. Whoever designed this system is a scammer. Why is there a mission to achieve world peace in a transmigrated world? I came here to enjoy life, not to dedicate myself to humanity's ultimate ideal. And the system is saying to Gu Feng, "Master, let's cuddle, just 1,000 spirit stones." And Gu Feng says to the system, "Get away, stay far away from me. My requirement is to max out her favorability towards me." And the system says, "As expected, men are such heartless creatures, only treasures won't abandon me." And Gu Feng says, "No matter what you say, I won't spend an extra penny on you, get to work." And the system says, "Fine, fine. Grinding has no future. Only pay-to-win can make you strong. Favorability. Up." Then the scene shifts to entrance of the Lone Treasury headquarters. And a lady is speaking, "Immortal masters from the Heavenly Labor Sect, please follow me. This is our 10th treasury, where the most spirit stones are stored, holding 200,000 spirit stones available for loan. With a simple procedure, you can get the spirit stones to renovate your sect. And the master says, I never expected. The Heavenly Works sect could revitalize under my old hands. And both the disciples of the master are speaking, Master. Is it really okay to borrow 200,000 and repay 500,000? Master. Can we really repay a 100-year labor contract? But Master says, shut up. Young people these days have no sense of dedication to the sect. But as soon as they go ahead, they all get very shocked, and they are not able to understand anything. On the other hand, Yi Tianchen holds Gu Feng's hand, and is saying to him, Brother Gu, I misunderstood you. Ah, Brother Yi, don't be so formal between us. Since it was a misunderstanding, I won't trouble you anymore. And Gu Feng is saying, trouble or no trouble, you're welcome to come back for another loan anytime. And Yi Tianchen is saying while leaving, if I save enough for the loan, I'll come find you to get my. And Gu Feng says to Yi Tianchen, don't worry, I'll keep the image safe for you. No one but me will see it. Then Jiolong says to Gu Feng, it's strange, she was so aggressive and murderous just now, why did she change her attitude after the young master looked at her? And Gu Feng says, that's because your young master used the power of money. And Gu Feng is thinking, why does my heart hurt all of a sudden? This time I must have lost a lot. As Council Hall, we see a man named Nailan Yuan, captain of the E Battalion, and he is saying, they say the city lord suddenly went into seclusion. Why has the young master summoned the captains of the 3 battalions of the Dragon Guard? And his other companion's name is Lu Jin, captain of the Jia Battalion, and he is saying, although I, Lu, command the most soldiers in the Jia Battalion, I am not a mind reader, how could I know what he's thinking? And then Gu Feng comes to that place, and he is saying, it's my fault for having low cultivation, unable to handle this meeting gift. Apologies for being late, please forgive me. A small token of apology, please accept. And Gu Feng has brought gifts for both of them, and Lu Jin is saying, young city lord, it's inappropriate to accept gifts without merit. And Nailan Yuan says, with the busy military affairs, let's get to the point. And Gu Feng says, let's wait until everyone arrives. Where is Feng Feishue from the Bing Battalion? Steward Wu was worried I wouldn't recognize Feng Feishue, so he gave me a portrait. I wonder what she looks like in person, she seems like a proper lady. Then the scene shifts and we see a girl who is fighting with some people and is saying to them, haha, too weak. Is this all you've got? The warm-up is over, time to meet that wastrel from the Gu family. And this girl's name is Feng Feishue, captain of the Bing Battalion. And Lu Jin is saying, young city lord, I think today's discussion might not go well. Perhaps we should reconvene another day. But then Feng Feishue comes to that place, and Feng Feishue is carrying a very big wooden stick on her shoulder, and she is saying, I've heard that the young city lord summoned us, so I've specially prepared a grand gift. And seeing her, Gu Feng is thinking, why is everyone bringing gifts to this meeting? And Feng Feishue says, Bing Battalion's Feng Feishue, here to wish the young city lord prosperity and fortune. And Feng Feishue throws that big stick in front of Gu Feng and she says, I hope this gift is to your liking? And Gu Feng says, Commander Feng's gift is truly. And Nailan Yuan is thinking, as expected, Gu Liantian foresaw this. This young brat wants to consolidate military power, but he's still too green. And Lu Jin is thinking, the old man guessed that Feng Feishue's tardiness was deliberate to cause trouble. If he can't even handle her, then the military power of the Dragon Guard. And Gu Feng says happily, this is great. It's exactly what I wanted, and everyone gets shocked after hearing Gu Feng's words, and Gu Feng is saying, it's rare for Commander Feng to be so thoughtful and prepare such a wonderful gift. If I don't return the favor with something equally grand, it wouldn't be appropriate. I've prepared a gift meticulously. Since Commanders Lu and Nailan didn't accept theirs, perhaps Commander Feng would be willing to. But Feng Feishue says, stop with the pleasantries. I'm not here for this. I'm here to demand the Bing Battalion's military funds. If you can solve this, I won't trouble you. If you can't, I don't care about the first sequence, or the inheritance rights. And Lu Jin is saying, Xiao, how can you be so rude? The young city lord just donated a huge sum to resolve the city's urgent crisis. Where is there any money left to give you military funds now? And Nailin Yuan says, our young city lord spent all the city's spirit stones just to establish a department for making toys. Where would he find extra money? And Fa Feishua says, for centuries, the East Domain and the Southern barbarians have been at war, draining our resources. As a subordinate city, Halan City has also been dragged into this endless militarism. The soldiers haven't been paid for years, and there's a shortfall of 3,000 top-grade spirit stones this year. And Lu Jin says, but you can't trouble the young city lord for this. If needed, we from the Jia battalion can think of a way to share some. And listening to them, Gu Feng laughs and says, it's just a matter of money, I still have plenty. I prepared spirit stone gifts for all of you, but you refused. And Gu Feng points towards the ground and they are surprised. And Nailin Yuan picks up a bundle lying on the ground and says, haha, young city lord, if you're out of money, just say so. It's not embarrassing. And Lu Jin is saying, Commander Nailin, watch your words. Even a few spirit stones are a kind gesture. And Nailin Yuan says, what kind gesture? These few spirit stones wouldn't even cover a decent meal. And Fan Feishua is saying, young city lord, this kind of nauseating joke, don't make it again. And as soon as Nailin Yuan, Lu Jin and Fan Feishua see the high-grade spirit stone, they get very shocked and they are thinking, and an ultimate-grade spirit stone. Such a priceless treasure. How is this possible? And Gu Feng tells them, I am joking? This is an ultimate-grade spirit stone worth 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Isn't this enough for military funds? I see Commanders Lu and Nailin are not short of money, so you can take all 3 ultimate-grade spirit stones. And then Fan Feishua bows before Gu Feng and says to him, young city lord, I was rash earlier. Your immense kindness to the soldiers of the Bing battalion, I will never forget this. And Gu Feng says, Halan City is my home, its development relies on everyone. It's a small effort, no need to mention it. Take care, come back often. And Gu Feng is thinking, with the power of money, even the wildest girls are no problem. Lu Jin, Nailin Yuan, you old guys, watch out. Then we see a girl, who has a box in her hand and she is running. And there is a servant behind her and the servant is saying, young master, be careful behind you. An unknown cultivator has intruded. And this girl's name is Li Zongwen, and she is saying, urgent report from the instrument department. But then Li Zongwen loses her balance, and she goes straight and collides with Gu Feng, and this is a boob's attack, but it is very soft. After some time, Gu Feng is sitting inside, and Li Zongwen is in front of him, and Gu Feng is saying, you said your name is Li Zongwen, employee number 9527, and you're a technician at the instrument department? And Li Zongwen is about to say something to Gu Feng, but before that the servant says, I think this young lady is just using her position to try and seduce our young master for a quick rise to the top. Let me tell you, our young master has remained pure for 18 years and still is. And as soon as Gu Feng hears the servant's words, he gets shocked. And Gu Feng shuts the servant's mouth, and says, why are you here? Is it about the treatment or work system of the instrument department? We already provide full insurance, 5-day workweeks, and double holidays. And Li Zongwen says, young master mentioned a talking chicken last time, and I've invented it. And Gu Feng is surprised to hear this, and he says, a chicken? A beautiful chicken? And Li Zongwen has a box in her hand, and she opens it, and she says, young master previously talked about a device called a mobile phone, which can transmit sound over long distances, making communication convenient. I've improved the spell 1,000-mile mystic light mirror and the sound transmission technique to create it with just a low-grade spirit stone. And looking at the chicken, Gu Feng is thinking, no way. I just casually mentioned it, and you actually made a mobile phone? Could my luck be turning around? And Li Zongwen further says this device called a mobile phone seems harmless, but for ordinary people without magic power, it can truly change their lives. Think about those merchants traveling far, laborers transporting goods, soldiers separated from their families. And Gu Feng holds Li Zongwen's hand and says to her, "Come, let's talk inside." And Gu Feng starts going inside with Li Zongwen. And seeing this, the servant gets very surprised, and he is saying, no wonder the young master wasn't interested in the girls the city lord arranged before. It turns out he likes this type. But then Gu Feng calls the servant, and on hearing Gu Feng's voice the servant says, "Why yes, young master? What is it?" And Gu Feng is saying, "The instrument department still needs a head of the technical department, right? Arrange for Li Zongwen to take the position tomorrow, with a monthly salary of 1,000 top-grade spirit stones." After some time, some noise starts coming from inside the room, like "Ah, I can't handle it. Don't, stop. Hey. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't exercise, and sitting for too long makes everything hurt." And Li Zongwen is giving Gu Feng the message, and after the message is over, Gu Feng is saying to Li Zongwen, "I didn't expect that besides your exceptional skills in crafting, you're also good at massage." And Li Zongwen says, "People and machinery aren't so different. Once you understand all the joint structures, you can master control. But someone like the young master is rare." And Gu Feng says, "Rare? Why do you say that?" And Li Zongwen says, "If the young master doesn't need anything else, I'll go back to researching the computer you just mentioned." So Gu Feng says, "Interesting. I didn't expect to find such talent in this backward cultivation world. I'm really curious about her past. System, I want to see Li Zongwen's memories." And then System comes out, and she is talking to Gu Feng. "Oh master, lately, you've been summoning me just for women. It's making me quite jealous." And Gu Feng says, "I'm paying you to work, not to talk. Get started already." And System says, "You're the one who said to hurry?" And System, using its power, sends Gu Feng to Li Zongwen's past. And we see some people who are working very hard in farming. And Gu Feng starts falling down from the sky, and Gu Feng is saying, "Damn System, just wait. Don't let me catch you." Eh? This is a lowly version of Li Zongwen? And we see little Li Zongwen, who is very happy, and she is saying, "Father, mother, brother. There are immortals in the village. Our village is saved." And Gu Feng is thinking, did her talent for crafting come from meeting a legendary elder when she was young? Did she get a golden finger? After some time, Gu Feng is listening to the conversation of all the villagers secretly, and one man says, "You bunch of fools. Quiet down." And the villagers are saying, "Immortal Lord, please save our village. It hasn't rained for half a year. Immortal Lord, have mercy on us." And another man says, "Get lost, get lost. The Immortal Master is here to select disciples today. Don't delay the Immortal Master's important matters." And Gu Feng is listening to their conversation carefully, but then Immortal Master notices something, and he is thinking, a destiny with immortality? Then using his power he calls Li Zongwen and says to her, "I am an Immortal Master from the Qifeng sect. Are you willing to follow me and cultivate? Once you join an immortal sect, you can move mountains and seas, reverse life and death, and achieve immortality." And Li Zongwen says to Immortal Master, "Immortal Grandpa, our family's cow died from overwork last year. Can you help our family plow the land? My parents work so hard just to feed me. Immortal Grandpa, if you're not willing, could you at least turn into a cow for our family? If that's too much, can you at least make it rain for our village?" But Immortal Master gets angry after listening to Chodi Li Zongwen, and he says, "Little girl, how laughable. With such short-sightedness, those eyes are useless." And Immortal Master attacks Li Zongwen's eyes, and he goes away. And Li Zongwen is in a lot of pain. And Gu Feng, seeing all these things, is thinking, is this how her story unfolds? Not long after, Li Zongwen's family was driven out of the village by the chief under the pretext of offending the immortal. Then we see Li Zongwen's house, and her mother is very ill, and she is speaking to Li Zongwen's brother, "You must take care of your sister." And Li Zongwen is crying a lot to make ends meet. Li Zongwen's parents overworked themselves and eventually died from a plague. A few years later, her brother, to whom she depended, was injured and died due to being caught in the crossfire of a battle between immortals. And a lot of stones are falling from the sky towards the ground, and Li Zongwen's brother gets stuck in between them. And then a horse passes over them, and Li Zongwen is crying a lot, and there is a bird near her, which falls on the ground. And then some wooden dolls come to that place, who save Li Zongwen, and old grandpa comes and he is saying, "Heaven and earth are unkind, treating all things as straw dogs. Sages are unkind, treating the people as straw dogs. Little girl, you dropped something." And Gu Feng is telling, thus, Li Zongwen was taken in by an outer disciple of the Yuling sect. With the old man's help, Li Zongwen regained her sight and embarked on the path of cultivation. Although her spiritual roots and cultivation talent were poor, who would have thought she was a genius in artifact crafting? But in a sect that valued cultivation and power above all, low-level cultivators like Li Zongwen and her master, who could only fiddle with junk, were less useful than the lowest-tier spirit hounds. And Grandpa is saying to them, 30 years of East, 30 years of West. You short-sighted people, don't look down on others. But those people are saying, get lost. Take your useless disciple with you. A big loser teaching a little loser. A few days later, and Grandpa is speaking to Li Zongwen, I'm not going to make it. Cough cough. I heard there's a place called the Instrument Department. After I'm gone, go there. And the scene shifts, and a man is speaking, thank you, fellow cultivators, for coming to support. Today marks the grand opening of the Instrument Department. We offer excellent treatment, and hope everyone will join us. Then the scene shifts, and Gu Feng is saying, they say that cultivation can defy the heavens and change one's fate. But how many people in their lifetime can't even touch the threshold of cultivation? And the system says, I'm just saying, right now, I can't wait for the master to save this world from suffering. And Gu Feng says, you're right. A true man born between heaven and earth should achieve great feats, change the world. Democracy, science, freedom. I want every person on this land to be born with these rights. All men are born equal, there shouldn't be. And the system is happy and thinking, no way, is the salted fish finally turning over? And outside two people are talking, young Master Gu. Jade Pavilion in the south of the city is opening today. The girls are beautiful and the wine is great. Young Master, we're heading there first, there won't be any seats left if we're late. And Gu Feng very quickly came out of the window and jumped out of the room, and the system was shocked to see this. But she is also happy and smiling. Then we see some people who are distributing pamphlets, and they are saying, in the heavens, there is the White Jade Capital. In the mortal realm, there is the Jade Pavilion. Opening day. Western dance girls, special services, half-price drinks. And Gu Feng picks up one of the leaflets, and he is thinking, oh dear, how could I forget such an important event as Jade Pavilion's opening? If I don't see these foreign beauties today, it would be such a regret. And Gu Feng again starts moving forward very fast, and then suddenly a lady comes in front of him and Gu Feng collides with that lady, and both of them fall away. And Gu Feng is thinking, ouch. Where did this girl come from? Her chest is both big and hard, could it be some kind of black technology? And Gu Feng is looking ahead and asking the lady, are you alright? Then we see this lady. Her name is Xiao Lengling, biological mother of Gu Kuan, second in line, from the Xia family of the northern desert, known for hating two things, big-chested girls and Gu Feng. And Xiao Lengling is saying, Gu Feng, the young master of the Gu family, today is truly a day for enemies to meet on a narrow path. And Gu Feng says to Xiao Lengling, Lady Xia, Aunt Xia, you're disguised today, who could recognize you? This is clearly a misunderstanding, if there's nothing else, I'll just... But Xiao Lengling and her soldiers are very angry with Gu Feng, and are looking at him with angry eyes. Gu Feng gets very scared after seeing them, but then something happens which shocks Xiao Lengling a lot because her bra falls down, and Gu Feng also gets shocked after seeing the bra. And now Xiao Lengling starts getting even more angry, and she is saying, you caused my son Gu Kuan to lose his succession right, and today you patrol purposely to insult me. Announced the family elder council decree, the first in line, Gu Feng, has set up a private army with the intent to rebel. Arrest him immediately. and Gu Feng says to them, "Hey, hey, hey! You old hag, don't go too far. The family council is over, stop abusing your power for personal vendetta." And Xiao Lengling says, "Sorry, but I haven't received any notice of the arrest warrant being revoked." And she attacks Gu Feng, and Gu Feng dodges her attack and thinks, "Unlucky, unlucky, unlucky. I should have brought Jiolong with me." And then the system comes out, and she says to Gu Feng, "Master, do you need my help? It only costs 10,000 low-grade spirit stones." But Gu Feng says to the system, "Get lost. I won't give you a penny. Tonight, I am a man destined to spend lavishly at the Jade Pavilion." And Gu Feng gets ready to fight with Xiao Lengling, and he is saying, "Xiao Lengling, if you push me further, we'll all go down together. Let me 60, or I'll tear off the seal on the blazing heaven thunder." And Xiao Lengling is surprised to see Gu Feng's weapon, and she is saying, "The last blazing heaven thunder acquired ended up in the hands of this wastrel. Yin Yang mixed 9 prisons blazing heaven thunder? 10 years ago, the city lord encircled and killed the blazing thunder demon at great cost. No, once the blazing heaven thunder is activated, half of Howren City would be blown away. He wouldn't dare." "Young Master Gu, stop bluffing. Even if you had the nerve, you wouldn't dare use the blazing heaven thunder." And Gu Feng says, "You think I don't dare just because you say so? Let's experience the art of explosion together." And Gu Feng throws blazing heaven thunder towards Xiao Lengling. And seeing blazing heaven thunder coming towards her, Xiao Lengling gets scared, and she is saying, "What the neck? This guy really doesn't value his life?" And everyone is running to save themselves from the blazing heaven thunder attack, and as soon as Xiao Lengling looks back, she is surprised. And she creates a shield around herself, and she is thinking, "I absolutely can't die in a place like this. No matter what kind of protection talisman, activate them all." But as soon as she looks ahead, she is surprised, because Gu Feng has done a fake attack, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Gu Feng starts running away from this place, and Xiao Lengling is saying to her soldiers, "He escaped. Everyone, pursue him. If we don't catch him today, everyone will be severely punished." And Gu Feng is running very fast, and he is saying, "Humph. If you want to mess with young Master Gu, you need to consider the difference in our IQs." And as soon as Gu Feng is going forward, Fang Feishui comes in front of him. And Fang Feishui quickly picks up Gu Feng, and throws him down. And she sits on Gu Feng, and is saying to him, "Who sent you? Why did you attack?" But as soon as Fang Feishui sees Gu Feng, she is surprised, and she becomes quiet. And then Xiao Lengling goes to that place, and she says to Fang Feishui, "Commander Fang, impressive skills. Don't let this brat escape. Today I'll make you wish you were dead." And Xiao Lengling is about to put her foot on Gu Feng, but then Fang Feishui attacks Xiao Lengling's foot and pushes her away, and seeing this Xiao Lengling gets shocked, and she is saying, "Hasn't the dragon army always disliked this wastrel? Why?" But then Fang Feishui slaps Xiao Lengling on her cheek, and says to her, "The family elder council's decree has been revoked. Now young Master Gu is back to being the first in the succession line, representing the face of Howren City. If you insult the young master like this, are you planning a rebellion?" And Xiao Lengling is getting very angry, but she calms herself down, and she is saying, all right, you two little sluts are in cahoots to plot against me. My Xia family will not let this go." But then Gu Feng asks Xiao Lengling to stop, and showing her a token says, "Xiao Lengling, who told you to leave?" After some time we see that Xiao Lengling is bent in front of Gu Feng, and she is barking like a dog, and she is saying to Gu Feng, "Is that enough? City Lord Gu gave you the City Lord's order, but not for you to use it like this." And Gu Feng says, "Oh, now you recognize the City Lord's order? If I had taken it out earlier, would you have even acknowledged it? No, it doesn't sound right. Keep calling, call until I'm satisfied." Then Fang Feishui starts going somewhere taking Gu Feng with her, and she is saying, "All right, enough is enough." And Gu Feng is saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I haven't had enough fun yet." And Fa Feishui says, "I helped you today because you funded the military expenses. But your despicable behavior is truly disgraceful. But Gu Feng stops and says to him, I say, are you overstepping your bounds? I, Gu Feng, am someone who repays kindness and seeks revenge. If you can't stand it, then stop using my money. And Feng Feishui gets a little angry after listening to Gu Feng's words, but Gu Feng holds Feng Feishui's hand and says to her, What about it? Want to grab a drink tonight or not? But Feng Feishui frees her hand and says to Gu Feng, You. What? What are you doing? And then a crowd starts gathering around them, and they look at Feng Feishui and say, Isn't that Commander Feng? Yeah? And isn't that young Master Gu Feng? Could it be? And after listening to those people, Feng Feishui gets even more angry and says to Gu Feng, Today I'll let you off. I'll settle this with you another day. Despicable scoundrel. Too outrageous. And she starts leaving from this place, and Gu Feng is saying while stretching, seems like she's still a novice, interesting. Among all this fuss, I almost forgot the main event of the evening. Better not be late. Nighttime, Jade Pavilion. Gu Feng is sitting comfortably and enjoying it, and very beautiful girls are around Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is enjoying the dance of those girls. And then Gu Feng says, No wonder Jade Pavilion's service is their top draw. Everyone gets a reward. Then we see a man who is looking at Gu Feng and thinking, Where did this nouveau riche come from? So annoying. These two top-tier exotic element stone rings from the western regions, I'm getting tired of them too. Such rare items. As long as you serve me well tonight, I might just reward you with them. But then the girl sitting next to that man runs towards Gu Feng, and Gu Feng is enjoying a lot, and he is saying, Immortal do. One sip rejuvenates for 10 years, tonight I've got plenty. And those girls are getting very happy, and they are all opening their mouths, and seeing so many girls around Gu Feng, that man gets a little sad, and Gu Feng is saying to that man, Friend, want a drink? And that man says, No, it's fine, today I didn't recognize who you are. But then a sword hits Gu Feng's wine bottle, seeing which he gets very shocked. Then he looks back, a man starts flying towards Gu Feng, and that man falls near him. And this is a soldier, and Gu Feng is saying, What's the City Defense Division doing? A newly opened restaurant getting wrecked. This affects the 6,000 business environment of our city, and harms sustainable development. Then Gu Feng sees from above that some soldiers are surrounding two girls, and then that man comes to him, and says to him, What? Young Master Gu, you also know Yi Tianqin? She's quite the recent sensation. And Gu Feng says, Why are you still here? And that man tells, I just love a good spectacle. His bad habit of mine, years can't change it. I heard this Yi Tianqin caused a huge uproar in Fire Phoenix City of Eastern Divine Continent. Just after she escaped, Fire Phoenix City Lord Murongjing reported it to the Eastern Divine King, who issued a celestial execution order on her. This celestial execution order is no small matter. Any cultivator in the Eastern Divine Continent has the duty to hunt Yi Tianqin. The Divine King's celestial order. Not to be defied. Unless you don't want to live in the Eastern Divine Continent anymore. Given the current situation, one could say. And, where did he go? But Gu Feng jumps from above to help those girls, and he is saying, Who dares touch her? Yi Tianqin is mine. And as soon as Gu Feng looks down, there is nothing to put his feet on, he is in the air, and after knowing this, Gu Feng starts falling down while screaming. And he falls in a pot, and we see that many soldiers are still surrounding Yi Tianqin. And the girl behind him is very scared, but Yi Tianqin is saying to her, Don't be afraid, I'm here. And then Nalin Yuan comes to that place, and he is saying, Today really proves that seeing is believing. But with Dragon Guard army surrounding you, you should surrender. But Yi Tianqin is telling Nalin Yuan more to fight than talk, and there are some people at that place, and they are talking, Look. That person is captain of the E-Battalion of the Dragon Guard, Nalin Yuan. It said he mastered the 9 transformations of the mysterious dragon art, wielding the power of the mysterious dragon. His dragon-capturing blade has slain hundreds of thousands of southern barbarian demon cultivators. Seeing him today, his reputation is well deserved, and then we see this man, who is very happy, and he is saying, although Yi Tianqian has extraordinary talent, she might fall in Haoran City today. What a pity. But witnessing this spectacle is worth it. And then the man's eyes go towards the pot, where someone is asking him to help. And we see Nailan Yuan, who has put his sword forward, and a lot of aura is coming out of his body, and he is saying, all right, I am Nailan Yuan, and today, under the divine order of the Eastern Divine King, I will slaughter all of you rebels. And now he directly moves forward to attack Yi Tianqian, and Yi Tianqian is also ready to fight with him, and Nailan Yuan is thinking, such a powerful sword intent. Are you planning to perish with me? Damn it! I need to avoid this for now. And it seems that Yi Tianqian has the advantage right now, and her power is very high. And seeing this, Nailan Yuan is also surprised, and Yi Tianqian attacks Nailan Yuan with her feet, and due to her attack Nailan Yuan falls on the ground far away. And Yi Tianqian comes down, and when the soldiers see Yi Tianqian in front of them, they get very scared, but then a dangerous aura starts spreading at that place. And seeing this thing, Yi Tianqian is also a little surprised, and we see that Nailan Yuan attacks Yi Tianqian again, and Yi Tianqian is able to dodge his attack with great difficulty, and Nailan Yuan is saying, it's been a very long time, since someone could hurt me like this. Today, I must fight you to the death. And Nailan Yuan gets in position to fight with Yi Tianqian, and Yi Tianqian also starts releasing her aura to fight with Nailan Yuan. But then there is an explosion at that place, and we see that someone has thrown his sword between them, and that man is saying, did everyone just ignore what I said? And when Nailan Yuan and Yi Tianqian hear that man's voice, they both get shocked, because the attacker is Gu Feng, who looks very angry, and he is saying, I said stop. Didn't you hear me? And seeing Gu Feng in front of him, Nailan Yuan is thinking, a useless spendthrift like you, why can you control such a large flying sword? Could it be? And Gu Feng says to those girls, sorry I'm late. And seeing Gu Feng, that girl is thinking, I knew my true love would appear in the most heroic way to save me from peril. And the junior sister is smiling seeing Gu Feng, but Gu Feng pushes the junior sister aside and he goes to Yi Tianqian and says to her, Tianqian, rest assured, as long as I'm here, no one in Haoran City will dare harm you. And Yi Tianqian says to Gu Feng, Brother Gu, although we hit it off immediately, you should stay out of this matter. And Gu Feng says stay out of it? I, Gu Feng, must get involved. But when Gu Feng's attention goes towards his sword, he is very shocked, because his sword starts breaking into pieces. And in a short while Gu Feng's sword breaks into pieces. And Gu Feng is saying in panic, ha! Didn't expect such poor quality. Looks like this shared flying sword still needs more research before being mass-produced. But then Nailan Yuan attacks Gu Feng's swords, and destroys them very easily. And Nailan Yuan is saying these childish tricks, young city lord, our Dragon Guard army is hunting down a rebel under the Eastern Divine King's decree. Please do not interfere. And Gu Feng is saying to Nailan Yuan, nah. Nailan Yuan, let me be clear. Yi Tianqian is my person. I'm protecting her today. And Gu Feng is thinking, give me some face, brother. If you hadn't started fighting on the way, I wouldn't have intervened. Damn system, you're going to get me killed. And Gu Feng is remembering the incident of a week ago, and he is saying, a forced mission. This damn system not only extorts money but also wants to kill me? And the system is telling Gu Feng, forced mission assigned. Save the critical figure for saving the world. Yi Tianqian. This is the price you pay for using the system. In the present time Nailan Yuan is saying to Gu Feng, since the young city lord insists on obstructing the Eastern Divine King's order, and the city lord suddenly goes into seclusion, I have no choice but to show no mercy with my blade. And Nailan Yuan attacks Gu Feng again, but his attack goes directly towards Yi Tianqian, and Gu Feng is thinking, I knew this scoundrel would suddenly attack, damn pay-to-win system. Quick. And then someone comes to that place, and uses his power on Nailan Yuan, due to which Nailan Yuan stops. And seeing his aura, Nailan Yuan trembles, and he is saying, who is it? Then we see that Jiulong has come in front of Nailan Yuan, and he is saying, who I am is not important. And Nalin Yuan says to Jiulong, the Eastern Divine King's orders are not something a small city like Howren can defy. And Gu Feng looks at Jiulong and says, Jiulong, beat him up. Make him a pighead. But Jiulong says, I only protect you, don't bother me with anything else. And hearing this, Gu Feng gets angry and he is thinking, a pay-to-win system, a troublemaking companion, and an over-the-top subordinate. Can't there be someone reliable? And junior sister says to Yi Tianchen, senior sister, let's sneak away first. Then Yi Tianchen says to Gu Feng, brother Gu, I can't thank you enough for your great kindness. If there's ever a chance in the future. And Gu Feng says, enough. If you really want to thank me, just leave quickly. And Yi Tianchen starts leaving from here, taking her junior sister with her. And while leaving, the junior sister tells Gu Feng, my name is Yi Lu Su, if fate allows. And seeing both of them leaving, Gu Feng is saying, chlorophyll? What a strange name. Sigh, how will I explain defying the Divine King's order to my father? Such a headache. And when both the sisters are leaving, due to fighting with Nalin Yuan, Yi Tianchen's mouth starts bleeding, and she starts fainting, and now she starts falling down, and Gu Feng also notices this thing, and he is saying, if all else fails, I'll have to pay to win again. Then Gu Feng goes to those two girls, and we see that the junior sister has fainted. And Yi Tianchen is injured, and then someone comes to that place, and he is laughing and saying, Nana, it really didn't take any effort at all. Yi Tianchen, surrender now. And Xiao Lengling is saying, Gu Feng? You spendthrift, what are you doing here? Step aside quickly. And Gu Feng says, what if I don't want to? And the second uncle says, I know you hold the City Lord token, but today, this is not something you should meddle in. And Xiao Lengling is saying, first sequence child Gu Feng, protecting Yi Tianchen, who is under the Divine King's kill order, is a dead end. Today. And second uncle silences Xiao Lengling. And Xiao Lengling gets shocked knowing this. And Gu Feng is saying to second uncle, after all, we are family. Is there really no room for compromise in this matter? And second uncle says, even if your father were here, he wouldn't dare defy the Divine King's order. And Gu Feng says, upon reflection, it is indeed foolish of me, given that, holding the City Lord token, which represents the City Lord's authority, in my hands only to let father's efforts go to waste. Instead. And second uncle gets shocked on hearing Gu Feng's words, and he says, you want to hand the City Lord token to me? Really? But Gu Feng tells him, dream on. And Gu Feng throws a smoke bomb, and quickly runs away from here with junior sister and Yi Tianchen, and seeing this second uncle gets very angry, and he is saying, respect the Divine King's decree, execute the rebel Yi Tianchen. Anyone who obstructs, regardless of their status, will be deemed an accomplice. Nalin Yuan, heed the order. And after listening to second uncle, Nalin Yuan gets ready, and second uncle is about to attack Gu Feng. Then we see Jiulong, who knows all these things. And then Jiulong teleports to that place, and second uncle gets a little surprised to see him in front of him, and Xiao Lengling is saying, this is a divine manifestation technique. You, a mere guard, can't possibly. And the second uncle says to Jiulong, Mr. Long, must you involve yourself in this matter too? Then Jiulong replies to them, if you trouble him, you fight me. I don't care about anything else. And on hearing this, the second uncle gets angry, and he also gets ready to fight with Jiulong, and he creates a very big spiritual body of his, and directly attacks Jiulong. And we see that the fight is going on between them, but still it seems that Jiulong's power is very high, and seeing this Xiao Lengling says to the soldiers, what are you standing there for? Gu Feng is protecting the Eastern rebel. His crime is unforgivable. Don't let Nalin Yuan steal all the credit. Just don't let me catch you. And Gu Feng gets very angry after listening to those people, and he says, all right, you're playing with me, aren't you? And then Gu Feng stops and he says to Yi Tianchen, Sister Yi, it seems we can't escape from Howren City now. Given the situation today, whether I live or die, there are many things I've kept bottled up inside that I must say. And we see the scene from a while ago, when Gu Feng is running away with Yi Tianqin and junior sister, and he says to the system, "Damn system! Come out and save me!" And the system comes out and says to Gu Feng, "Oh my, master, don't be anxious." And Gu Feng says to the system, "How much money will it take to solve this?" "Quickly, I'll pay." So the system says, "Let me check, master, to see how much money you have left." Developing the shared flying sword cost 20,000 spirit stones. The shared magic item project establishment cost 10,000 spirit stones. The third phase expansion of the instrumentation hall cost 18,000 spirit stones. Personal luxuries cost 50,000 spirit stones. Salaries for the chi refiners and employees were 8,000. Innately, master. The funds from the loan treasury haven't transferred yet. Currently, there's no way for me to assist with these spirit stones. Master, you'll have to rely on yourself. And Gu Feng, seeing the danger coming towards him, is ready to accept the system's words, and he is saying, "Although I come from a prominent background, I lack talent, disappointing my father. Since childhood, the bastards in Howren City have harassed and humiliated me for their own gain. I've tolerated it all." And Xiao Lingling starts getting angry after listening to Gu Feng, but Nalin Yuan stops Xiao Lingling, and he is saying, "Let him finish, he's a dead man anyway, and he's still the first sequence." And Gu Feng says, "What divine king's decree is inviolable? Kill all rebels without mercy?" Then Gu Feng starts drinking the wine in front of them. Then he drinks the wine and breaks the wine jar, while saying, "I spit on that. It's all bullshit. All these rules are just high-sounding excuses for you people in power. You enjoy all the offerings of the world, but do you ever consider the suffering of the masses? Do you ever think about the livelihoods of ordinary people and cultivators? You were ordinary people when you were born too." Servant is saying, "Young master. The old servant is here. There's no inherent difference in nobility between cultivators and the masses." Then Yi Tianqin says, "The most hateful thing is that you put on a hypocritical face of compassion. It's truly disgusting." And Nalin Yuan is saying, "The heavenly Tao is unfair, all beings suffer in this world, everyone has their own." And Xiao Lingling says, "Ridiculous. As the son of the city lord, to spout such nonsense, you're really at death's door." But then someone attacks Xiao Lingling, and the one who attacks is Yi Tianqin. And we see that blood starts coming out of Xiao Lingling's mouth, and Yi Tianqin is saying nonsense? But I think he's absolutely right. Take care of my junior sister, get her out of here. Knowing Brother Gu in this life, I have no regrets even in death. And Yi Tianqin is preparing one of her attacks, and she directly attacks Xiao Lingling again, and Yi Tianqin starts attacking the soldiers too. Then she attacks Nalin Yuan, and seeing her attack Nalin Yuan is thinking, with only a 9th stage golden core cultivation, to be able to suppress my 3rd stage nascent soul cultivation, truly a genius of contemporary swordsmanship. And Nalin Yuan gets ready to attack Yi Tianqin, but Yi Tianqin quickly disappears from that place, and seeing this Nalin Yuan gets surprised, and he is saying, "Where did that useless Xiao Lingling go?" And Yi Tianqin is moving forward to attack. Then we see that Xiao Lingling is moving forward to attack the junior sister, and she is saying, "My son, Gu Kuan, will become the first character. Die." And Gu Feng says to Xiao Lingling, "Your son Kuan is bad at singing, dancing, rapping, and basketball. Dream on about him being the first sequence." And on hearing this, Xiao Lingling gets very angry, and she moves forward to attack, but then someone attacks Xiao Lingling, and the attacker is Gu Feng's servant, and this part begins. And the servant attacks Xiao Lingling. And we see that due to the servant's attack, there is an explosion at that place. And he is saying, "Young master, how about this move of mine?" But Gu Feng is saying, "Stop showing off, we can't stay here, let's get going." And the servant attacks again, and he is saying, "Hold on, young master, let me finish her off first." But then Xiao Lingling catches the servant's weapon, and says to him, "You old golden core 5th stage waste." And Xiao Lingling destroys the servant's weapon in one go, and she is saying, "If it weren't for stabilizing Kuaner's cultivation, the empty spirit power causing backlash from the nether runes, and the temporary sealing, killing you would be effortless." At this point, I don't care about this nascent soul stage cultivation, everyone must die. And Xiao Lingling thrusts her sword through the servant's chest. But while dying, the servant is saying, the spies reported. Your strength was weak. How? Young master, I couldn't hold the ground, I've let you down. And the servant falls on the ground covered in blood. Seeing this, Gu Feng gets very angry and he runs towards the servant and says to him, You promised to manage my accounts for life. What kind of joke is this? How am I supposed to save you like this? And Gu Feng remembers the moments spent with the servant, that how the servant used to silence him when he used to cry and always saved him from being bullied. And he always used to roam around with him, and he always used to say, Young master has extraordinary talent. Truly a prodigy in cultivation. And remembering all these things, Gu Feng is crying a lot, and he is saying, this was supposed to be a story of a main character pretending to be weak, then using cheats in cultivation. Why is this happening? And Jiolong also feels bad seeing the servant dead. And he tries to go down. But then the second uncle comes in front of Gu Feng and says to him, Where do you think you're going? And Xiao Lingling again moves forward to attack, and Gu Feng comes in front of her, and he is saying, Come on. Kill me if you dare. Even as a ghost, I won't let you off. And as soon as Xiao Lingling is about to attack Gu Feng with a sword, a barrier is formed in front of Gu Feng, due to which Xiao Lingling's sword stops. And Gu Feng is shocked to see this. The divine dragon bears the map and emerges from weak water. The colorful phoenix carries the book to the jade-green clouds and stars. By the command of the Wind Empress, it transforms into text. Gazing upon the celestial mystery, the primordial essence begins from here. And this is the spirit which is Gu Feng's mother. And she has come to save Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is shocked to see her because he still does not recognize that the spirit is his mother. Then Gu Feng's mother attacks Xiao Lingling. And we see that due to Gu Feng's mother's attack, Xiao Lingling now slowly starts disappearing. And in a little while she is about to disappear. And the second uncle is fighting with Jiolong, and when his attention goes towards Gu Feng's mother, he gets very shocked, and he says this. This is a remnant soul left by a powerful cultivator at the transformation stage before their death. Lingling. Run quickly! But looking at Xiao Lingling, it seems that it is too late now. And Gu Feng's mother wipes out Xiao Lingling. And Gu Feng is very confused as to who is in front of him. And he is also asking, but his mother says, no need to ask more. Then she starts refining a treasure, and seeing this, second uncle starts moving towards her very fast, and he is saying, an evil technique of refining a remnant soul. How dare she use a cultivator's nascent soul and her own remnant soul to refine a treasure? I need to stop her quickly. But Jiolong does not want to let second uncle do this, so he attacks him. On the other side we see that Nalin Yuan is fighting with Yi Tianchen, and he has injured Yi Tianchen. And he is telling the soldiers to catch Yi Tianchen. Then all the soldiers start moving towards Yi Tianchen, and Nalin Yuan is thinking, today's capture mission is going to be a big mess. But then Gu Feng's mother gets angry, and she is saying, fools who don't know their place. And she comes in front of Gu Feng and kills all of them with her one attack. And seeing this, everyone is very shocked, and Gu Feng is thinking, could this be the mother of this body? Then we see that Gu Feng's mother has made a treasure. And seeing this, Nalin Yuan is very shocked, and he is saying, this is an innate Tao embryo. Impossible, no one's nascent soul can produce this. Unless. And Jiolong is saying, it's indeed her, feeling guilty, and using her last remnant soul to refine a treasure, sigh. And the second uncle says such means such a treasure. And Gu Feng's mother says to Gu Feng, Gu, this is the last gift from your mother. I hope you live a peaceful life, without worry or sorrow. Today, you are indeed fortunate. And Gu Feng gets emotional after seeing his mother. But now it is time for his mother to leave, so she disappears. And we see that Gu Feng has something in his hand, and then the servant becomes alive, and he says to Gu Feng, young master? Why am I lying in your arms? It's so warm and comfortable. But Gu Feng gets angry after listening to the servant's words, and Gu Feng throws the servant away, and says to him, hey, hey, hey! Old man, you're exposing yourself. But then many people start coming to that place, who together start surrounding Gu Feng. And seeing this, second uncle becomes very happy, and he is thinking, Gu Feng, everything you have will become mine. Then the second uncle goes to the front, and he is saying, now all the forces of Haoran City are gathered here. Gu Feng, even if you have more tricks up your sleeve, you won't be able to escape. Surrender, explain everything clearly, and hand over Yi Tianchen. Maybe Haoran City will still have a place for you. And we see Jiolong who is feeling something. And Gu Feng is saying to them, old man, do you dare say these words in front of my father? And Yi Tianchen says, if it's a fight you want, then a fight you'll get. I, Yi Tianchen, will take responsibility for my own actions. And the second uncle says, even if Gu Liantian comes out of seclusion, he won't be able to protect you now. But then golden light starts coming down from the sky, seeing which the second uncle is surprised. And he is saying, the Divine King's envoy has arrived. Kneel and welcome him. And we see that a person is coming down from the sky sitting on a chariot. And the second uncle bows his head in front of that person. And he is saying, Gu Huai of the Gu family, leading the cultivators of Haoran City, greets the Divine King's envoy, and all the soldiers kneel down to give respect to that man and greet him. But Gu Feng is confused and he is saying to Jiolong, Jiolong, in this situation, isn't it useless to pretend? And Jiolong says, no killing intent. I'll take the old Wu and leave first. And the servant says, I will live and die with the young master. Let go of me. And Gu Feng is thinking, what? What's going on? Are they really going to abandon us in such a leisurely manner? I have a bad feeling that this comic is about to end. Damn it, we haven't even enjoyed the excitement yet, and it's ending? And the second uncle says, how dare you? You criminals, kneel and pay respects upon seeing the envoy. And Gu Feng gets confused after listening to the second uncle's words, and the second uncle is laughing and thinking, the Divine King's envoy of the Eastern Domain has personally come to capture Yi Tianchen. I have assisted, and with Gu Feng's foolish actions, Haoran City is within my grasp. Then we see that person, and he says, no worries. And Gu Feng is looking at him and thinking, Jiolong said there's no killing intent. Could it be? Then the envoy says the main matter is more important. Announcing the Divine King's decree. Rebellious Yi Tianchen, disrespecting the law, arrogant and conceited. And Yi Tianchen is saying, stop listening to this nonsense. I'd rather die here. At least I won't cause more trouble for Brother Gu. And Gu Feng stops Yi Tianchen and tells her that you should listen to him till the end. And the envoy further says, but, considering her exceptional talent and limitless potential, the Divine King cherishes talent, thus, her crimes are pardoned, effective immediately, the Divine King's hunt for her is cancelled, and she is registered in Haoran City as a cultivator. And as soon as the second uncle hears the envoy's words, he gets very shocked, and he says, impossible. It doesn't make sense. Why would the Divine King pardon a rebel like this? And after listening to second uncle, the envoy gets angry and says, are you questioning the Divine King's decree? And after listening to the envoy, second uncle gets nervous and Gu Feng is smiling and thinking, talking about cherishing talent, even dogs wouldn't believe it. In the Eastern Domain with its billions of cultivators, dozens of prodigies emerge every year. Cherishing talent? Can the Divine King cherish them all? And Gu Feng says to Yi Tianchen, hey Sister Yi, didn't know you had such connections to be pardoned like this. Tell me, which senior helped you out, introduce me, won't you? And Yi Tianchen says, I really don't know what happened. So Gu Feng says, still pretending, huh? That's just too much. And the envoy takes Gu Feng's name, so Gu Feng waves his hand and tells the envoy that I am Gu Feng. And the envoy starts looking at Gu Feng. And Yi Tianchen says to Gu Feng, Brother Gu, since things have already ended, there's no need to make a fuss for my sake. And Gu Feng says, hey, I'm just like this normally, speaking my mind freely, I believe the envoy won't mind. And Gu Feng is thinking, something unusual is definitely going on. Let's see what this Eastern Domain Divine King is planning. And Yi Tianchen says, Brother Gu's straightforward nature truly combines pride and integrity. And we see Uncle, who is getting very angry, and the envoy is thinking, looking at Gu Feng, this brat really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. It's the first time I've seen someone so eager to die. And Gu Feng goes to the envoy, and he starts patting the envoy's shoulder, and is saying to him, I say, the envoy isn't really angry, right? So petty? And as soon as everyone sees this thing, they are very shocked. And the envoy is saying, for centuries, no one has ever dared to touch me during the proclamation of the divine decree. You really are young and capable. I admire you. Few it seems the divine king indeed has a keen eye. So young, yet both virtuous and skilled, truly an outstanding talent among the younger generation of the Eastern domain. And Gu Feng gets surprised, and he says, Envoy, but I only have the cultivation of Qi condensation stage 3. And the envoy says, that's not important. Ahem, Gu Feng, receive the decree. By the divine king's decree, Gu Feng of Haoran City is appointed as a contributing officer to the Yukuan Palace, with a monthly salary of 500 high-grade spirit stones. And as soon as the soldiers hear this, they are surprised, and they are saying, how did he become an official? And get paid? Could it be that our city lord is related to the divine king? Otherwise, why? Then we see the second uncle, who starts vomiting blood after listening to the envoy's words. And he is saying, what qualifications does this brat Gu Feng have? And the envoy is saying to Gu Feng, congratulations, young friend. By tradition you should follow me back to Yukuan Palace to assume your post, but with your current cultivation. And Gu Feng says, is there something wrong with my excellent cultivation? But the envoy says, our excellent cultivation. I'm afraid you won't withstand the endless gales of the heavenly outer realm. This matter can only be postponed. When your skills improve, someone will come to fetch you. And the envoy gives a box to Gu Feng, and he further says, in this box is a heavenly grade elixir called 3-pattern clear spirit pill. For cultivators below the nascent soul stage, it has the miraculous effect of cleansing the marrow and refining the essence. The divine king specially ordered me to give this to you. And Gu Feng says, the divine king's favor is truly overwhelming. How can I accept such a generous gift? And Gu Feng is thinking, what a great item. It's obviously a celestial grade elixir. Could the divine king be my golden finger? And the envoy says, on the 2nd day of the 10th month next year, the divine king will host the celestial grand duel. During this event, the divine king hopes you will shine and not let down his expectations. Having completed my task, I must return to the Yukuan Palace to report to the divine king. I cannot stay any longer. Farewell, young friend. And Gu Feng is a little confused. And he is saying, what is this celestial grand duel all about? And Yi Tianqian says, Brother Gu doesn't know? The celestial grand duel is a combat event held by the divine king every 100 years. It is primarily for young cultivators from the 12 imperial cities of the eastern divine continent. Those who place in the top 3 usually receive valuable rewards. However, each imperial city only has 2 participation slots. With many prodigies within the cities, the celestial grand duel always incites fierce competition among the major families' prodigies, making it extremely dangerous. The 2nd day of the 10th month marks another centennial cycle, and the next grand duel is imminent. And Gu Feng is saying, the fox's tail is showing. And Yi Tianqian says, whose tail? And Gu Feng says, no one's tail is going to stop me from reaping benefits. Then Gu Feng asks the envoy to wait for a while, and he says, you still have treasures you haven't given me. Then we see a scene from another place, where both the envoy and Gu Feng are sitting. And Gu Feng is saying to the envoy, please allow me to say a few more words. The divine king and I are close friends despite the age difference. He appreciates my talents, and I respect his high moral standing. In fact, I never intended to make this relationship public. During our private interactions, he has always rewarded me generously with spirit stones and treasures, and I remember each one. However, why is it that this time, the divine king only gave me a single pill? It's quite peculiar, isn't it? Could it be that some daring subordinate of yours has embezzled part of the reward? I don't mind, but this puts you, envoy, in a position of disloyalty and injustice, openly slapping you in the face. And the envoy says, enough? I'm not that naive. If the Divine King didn't truly value you, you would have been dead by now. And Gu Feng says, hee hee, you must be joking, the Divine King wouldn't just give me a single pill, would? And the envoy says, fine, you're bold, courageous, and shameless enough. This item is called the Bright Moon Shuttle, a rare flying sword of the celestial grade. And as soon as Gu Feng sees the treasure, he is very happy. He becomes happy. Then the envoy gives Gu Feng the treasure, bright moon in the sky, extreme, traversing the void, unstoppable in slaying foes. And the envoy stands up, and he says, with this, you'll have an edge in the grand celestial tournament. If you survive, don't forget today's kindness. And Gu Feng says if the envoy could bear to part with a nascent soul-level spirit beast as well, that would be even better. And in reply the envoy says, if you want it, take it. Then the envoy leaves from here. And Gu Feng is going sitting on the beast, and he is speaking to Yi Tianchen, Sister Yi, how do you like this spirit beast bestowed upon me? Everyone has heard it, the Divine King has pardoned Yi Tianchen, the execution order has been revoked, and I've been richly rewarded. If there's nothing else, everyone can disperse. And Nailan Yuan Gu Feng says earlier, I was only following orders. From now on, I'm willing to follow the sequence, ready to die 1,000 times over. So Gu Feng says, no problem, take care of the injured soldiers' aftermath. Tomorrow at midnight, bring the other 2 captains to see me. Stop pretending to be dead, old man. And second uncle says, Gu Feng, I admit defeat. Do with me as you will, do you still honor our bet? So Gu Feng says, old man, have you no shame? Of course I honor it. I, Gu Feng, keep my word. A man of integrity. I won't break my promise. A year from now, we'll see who's right. And Gu Feng starts going somewhere, taking Yi Tianchen with him. And Yi Tianchen tells Gu Feng she is telling him to slow down. But Gu Feng is moving ahead very fast. Then we see the junior sister, who is saying to them that take me along with you too. Then the scene shifts to the Jade Pavilion. And we see that everyone is partying together and celebrating their victory. And junior sister is drinking too much. And she drinks so much. As soon as she drinks she starts taking off her clothes. And she becomes very happy. But Yi Tianchen gets angry and knocks out junior sister, and she is saying, so embarrassing. Now I understand why Master forbids you from drinking. And Gu Feng says, Sister Yi, you and your sister have been running for your lives for so long, living each day with uncertainty. It's good for her to let out the pressure. Shall we find a quieter place to talk? So Yi Tianchen comes down on the ground. And we see that the servant is taking junior sister to her room. At night, Gu Feng and Yi Tianchen are sitting on the roof and drinking. And Gu Feng is becoming very happy, and he is saying, if she is wet, then she is ready for bed. What a beautiful poem, I didn't expect you to be so talented, Brother Gu. Oh, writing poetry, even someone like me can manage a bit. And Yi Tianchen says, Brother Gu, you're too modest. Lowering my head thinking of, is gone. And Gu Feng says, don't say such depressing things. As long as you're alive, that's what matters most. Have you really not considered staying in Haoran City? And Yi Tianchen says, I appreciate your kindness, Brother Gu, but I have my own path to follow. The vast world, the Eastern Divine Continent, is just a drop in the ocean. If I want to improve my strength and avenge my enemies, I must venture out. Brother Gu, to the south of Haoyang City lies the southern barbarian desert where demonic cultivators roam. To the west is the Buddhist land of Gannan Western Territory, where the sound of Buddhist chants echoes and compassion is shown to all beings. To the north, the northern desolate land is filled with witchcraft and ghostly sorcery, and the legendary boundless sea, full of hidden treasures. Gu Feng, don't you want to explore these places with me? And Gu Feng is thinking, is she confessing? But Gu Feng says, I'm sorry, Sister Yi. I have my own path to follow. And Yi Tianchen says, I understand. Everyone has their own mission to complete. Brother Gu, thank you for your care these past days. I can't thank you enough. This is a sword formation manual I found in an ancient immortal tomb deep in the Chilean mountains, 300 miles from Feng City. Study it well, and you will gain much from it in the future. And Gu Feng says, I appreciate your kindness, Sister Yi. And Yi Tianqian says, with my talent, I may not fully grasp the sword formation, but if I come to you with this broken sword in the future, don't forget me. I won't forget you, and you shouldn't forget me either. And Yi Tianqian kisses Gu Feng on his cheek. And she smiles looking at Gu Feng. Then she starts leaving from here. And Gu Feng gets a little confused. And the system says, our dull-headed goose has caught the eye of a wild woman. Men really can't be left alone for a day, or they'll slip away. And Gu Feng gets angry looking at the system, and he says, you still dare to show up? You useless system that only causes trouble, get lost. But the system says, what? Using someone and then discarding them? Have I been too accommodating, leading you to misunderstand our relationship? But Gu Feng remains silent. Then he says, fine, you're the system, you're the boss. I apologize. And Gu Feng is thinking, one day, I will hold everything in my own hands. The next day, Gu Feng is saying, there's no such thing as a never-ending feast. This time, you're heading far away. Who knows when we'll meet again? Yesterday, the Divine King officially registered you as part of Howren City. Consider the city half of your hometown now. As they say, better to cherish a pinch of your homeland's soil than 10,000 gold pieces from elsewhere. So, whenever you get the chance, remember to come back home. And Yi Tianqian says yes. Then they leave from here. And Gu Feng is happy. Then the servant says to Gu Feng, young master, what are your plans for today? And Gu Feng says, plans? Of course, I'll be heading back to level up. And the servant says, level up? Another one of your new tricks, young master? At night, Jade Pavilion. Gu Feng is sitting and doing cultivation, and he is thinking, in the path of cultivation, it's all about gathering spiritual energy into the sea, converging all rivers into one. Once the liquid spiritual energy in the spirit sea is condensed into solid true essence, forming the golden core, that's the breakthrough from the chi condensation stage to the golden core realm. With my useless talent and this tiny bit of liquid spiritual energy, I'll never form a golden core, not in a year, not in a lifetime. This overpowered cheat from my cheap mom sounds amazing, but I still don't know what it actually does. Looks like I'll need to rely on pills after all. And Gu Feng eats the 3-stripe pure spirit pill. And he is saying, amazing, no wonder the Divine King gave me this pill. The spiritual energy inside is incredible. It's like years of cultivation packed into one pill. Then we see the treasure given to Gu Feng by his mother, which is with him. It starts absorbing the power of the pill. And Gu Feng gets very shocked to know what is happening to him. And he is saying, why is all the pill's energy being absorbed by that thing? Hey! Stop it! It's even draining my chi condensation stage cultivation. Every time I cultivate, something goes wrong. Maybe it's easier just being a waste. I can hold on a little longer using the surrounding spirit stones. But if I don't figure something out soon, I'm done for. Could it be? And then a screen opens in front of Gu Feng, the Heavenly Fetus Technique and Immortal Grade Technique. This technique? Otherwise, their dad's foundation will collapse, and their meridians will shatter. Take heed! Take heed! And seeing him, Gu Feng says, there's. Focus on the life gate, concentrate the spirit into the chi cavity, breathe deeply, and ignite the vital force, inhale, and unite all realms within. Gather essence inward, follow the Tao, and let the stars shift. And then Gu Feng starts feeling extreme pain, and a lot of energy starts coming out of him. And Gu Feng is saying, what the heck is going on? This cultivation technique doesn't seem like something a normal person could handle. Then we see the treasure, which starts absorbing all the spiritual energy. And after a while, his treasure becomes calm now. And because of this, Gu Feng also stops feeling pain. And he gets surprised, and he is saying, did I manage to control it? Although my current chi condensation 3rd stage is unstable, this innate Tao fetus controlled by the Heavenly Fetus Technique can automatically cultivate for me, and even refine my body and Tao foundation. Though my cultivation speed hasn't changed much, this body of mine is growing stronger. With this, I've added another layer of security to my plans. Then the scene shifts. And we see Naylan Yuan, and he is saying, no matter the reason, being late is always annoying. And Lu Xun says, just calm down. The young lord must have his reasons for being late. And Feng Feishue says, but it's a matter of principle. If he respected others, he would. And Gu Feng says, would you do what? But Feng Feishue gets angry with Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is saying, my apologies, everyone. The affairs of Haoran City have kept me busy. I couldn't free myself earlier. And Lu Xun says, no need to explain, young lord. Feng Feishue is just impatient by nature. And Naylan Yuan says, exactly. With such fine immortality before us, it's clear the young lord cherishes talent. Even if we waited half an hour, it wouldn't be in vain. In fact, even if we had to wait a day, a week, or a month, it'd be worth it. And Feng Feishue is thinking, bootlickers like this are disgusting. And Feng Feishue says, let's just get straight to the point. The military camp has enough to do without wasting time. And Gu Feng says, I like your straightforwardness, Commander Feng. Today's gathering is to discuss a small matter. Taking something out, as you know, our eastern domain will soon be at war again with the southern barbarian demons. Recently, it's likely that demon spies have infiltrated the city to gather information. The Divine King, who is close to me, has warned me multiple times to increase patrols and be vigilant against these spies. Better to kill 1,000 innocents than let one spy escape. My father is currently in seclusion, attempting to break through, so he's unable to manage the city. As a member of the family's inner circle, I feel it's my duty to act. I intend to establish a new military unit specifically for patrols, arrests, and intelligence gathering. But I'm short on capable hands, which is why I'm reaching out to you, the three generals, hoping you can spare 1,000 troops to support this effort. It would benefit the Eastern Domain, and I'd be able to report back to the Divine King. And Lu Xun is thinking, as expected, this kid is trying to seize control of the Dragon Guard army under the guise of the Divine King's orders. How should I respond to retreat unscathed today? The young lord's loyalty to the family is as clear as the sun and moon. All my troops are at your disposal, young lord. And Lu Xun gets shocked after listening to Naylan Yuan. And Feng Feishue says I have no issues with it either. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. And when Gu Feng asks Lu Xun, he says I wouldn't dare refuse. Then Naylan Yuan says, young lord, I have something else to say. Since you're setting up this new unit, surely you're in need of a capable leader for it. I humbly nominate myself. And Gu Feng says, you're not suitable. I've already chosen Commander Feng. And Fa Feishue says, as long as the rations and pay are delivered, I have no objections. And Jiolong says, why bother with all this trouble? You could just use the City Lord command seal to suppress them more efficiently. And Gu Feng says, I'm not cut out for killing. And you're not cut out for managing people. And Jiolong says, do you have a crush on that Commander Feng? And Gu Feng gets a little surprised on hearing this, and spits out the tea. And Jiolong says while leaving, I'm not good at managing people, but you're not good at wooing girls. If you want some tips, come to my room tonight. At night we see Gu Feng sneaking into Jiolong's house and thinking, Jiolong called me over so late at night. Could it be he has some secret cultivation manual to teach me? Laugh all you want, but out of everyone, Jiolong is the most reliable. No one's here? Is he too shy to teach me something like this? Then when he looks ahead, he sees a book. He picks it up and starts reading it and says, whatever, I probably have a natural talent for this kind of cultivation. I'll learn it on my own. And the name of this book is, The Rich Lady Fell in Love with Me. And Gu Feng is very surprised. Then he says, I shouldn't have expected much, come to think of it, it's been a while since I seriously focused on making money. Then the scene shifts. And we see two people, Wenxiang Pavilion shopkeeper Ouyang Jing, Wenxiang Pavilion attendant Chinner Wang. And Chinner Wang says, shopkeeper, do you remember what I told you back then? You said there's no business in Haoran City that can compete with the Treasury Pavilion. And what did you say? You said we run elections, so why should we care about some loan business? But look at us now. And Ouyang Jing says, it's embarrassing. How am I supposed to face the elders of the Wanxiang sect when I return? Who would have thought that Wanxiang Pavilion, the commercial giant that monopolized the 4 great states of Kanglan Star, would struggle to attract customers in Haoran City? And Chiner Wang says, sigh. Maybe we should move. And Ouyang Jing says, no way. We can't give up. What kind of business just lets people sign a soul contract and gives them spirit stones to spend without paying back? There's something fishy here. I, Ouyang Jing, refuse to lose. And Chiner Wang is saying to Ouyang Jing, come on, shopkeeper, show them the power of the Wanxiang sect's top business prodigy. A few moments later, Ouyang Jing is coming to Chiner Wang, and she is saying, Chiner Wang, shopkeeper, we're rich. Longevity Palace essential oils, Butterfly Valley's fragrant powder, Medicine King Mountain's face masks, Heavenly Craftsman Workshop's sandalwood sculptures, all at 50% off. And Chiner Wang gets surprised on hearing this, and he is saying, shopkeeper, where did you get the money to buy all this? And Ouyang Jing says, the people at Treasury Pavilion were really nice. I signed a few papers, and they gave me 10,000 spirit stones to spend however I wanted, and they said there's no rush to repay it. And Chiner Wang says, I'm going to be the first shopkeeper in Wanxiang sect's 1,000-year history to go bankrupt. And Ouyang Jing says, as much as I hate to part with these treasures, do you think I can still get a refund? And Chiner Wang says, I don't know. I don't want to hear about it. I just want to go back to the sect. Move aside. I got here first. Don't try to cut in line. Then we see some people who are saying, don't push. Someone's going to get hurt. Can anyone read this? Is this another recruitment notice? Requirements are as follows: gender, male, female, or otherwise, no restrictions. Race, human, demon, ghost, shaman, all are welcome. Background, freelance cultivators or members of sects are acceptable. Those restricted by sect rules, please consider the consequences yourself. The only requirement, you must possess extraordinary skills and talents. Those who meet this condition may go to any branch of the Treasury Pavilion in Haoran City to register, and receive a qualifying scroll for the talent selection. Limited to 1,500 people. First come, first served. Participants will receive a minimum monthly salary of 500 mid-grade spirit stones. Greater talent will receive no capon compensation. Signed, Haoran City Sequence 1, Gu Feng. And a man is saying, this Gu Feng really knows what he's doing. And Chiner Wang looks at Ouyang Jing, but she is not there, and Ouyang Jing is running away, and she is saying, don't you dare try to stop me. I'm getting in on this. Then we see a shopkeeper. And he is saying, whoa, quite the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, though our Treasury Pavilion is already quite well known far and wide, there are still some formalities that need to be addressed before we proceed. But the crowd is saying, we get it. It's all about the pies. The more you work, the more you get paid. No limit to the earnings. And don't forget the wolf culture. The boss is the wolf leader, and we're all wolf cubs. We huddle together, and everyone gets a share of the meat. You think you're so smart. Do you even know about the 5 dangers, 1 gold nugget? Of course. I also know about the 9 to 5, weekends off, and the 13th month salary. And seeing those people fighting, the shopkeeper is thinking, this sounds like gibberish. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. And the shopkeeper says, since everyone is aware of the Treasury Pavilion's generous benefits, let's officially begin the recruitment. Here are 50 recruitment forms. In half an hour, I'll be waiting in the inner hall for those lucky enough to earn a spot. And they start fighting again, and they are saying, I paid 500 spirit stones to find out that there's only one rule to getting those forms, grab them. Bet you didn't know that, you fool. And all the people's eyes are shining, and a servant says to the shopkeeper, shopkeeper, the talented individuals recommended by various factions have completed the first trial in the back garden. 7 candidates were selected, and the shopkeeper is thinking, I wonder how many talents the young masters will fancy this year. They say if I recommend 15 core talents, I'll get promoted from grade C3 to grade C2, with a 30% salary increase. If I finance the new flying sword 3,000 in installments, that peach blossom fairy from West City said she'd be willing to cry sitting on it. But then a sword comes flying and hits the shopkeeper from behind, seeing which the shopkeeper gets angry and says, "Who the hell summoned a flying sword? That's going too far. My long beard has charmed thousands of fairies. Where's the enforcement team when you need them?" And we see that it is Ouyang Jing, and Ouyang Jing is saying, "Anyone who block me will die." And Chinner Wang is also with Ouyang Jing. And they are all those people. People get ready to fight. And they start moving forward. And we see many more people, and they are saying, "Brothers and sisters of Wuji Sword Sect, listen up. The sect has ordered us to snatch at least 10 or 8 of these talent qualification spots today. Form the Wuji Sword Array." And there are many more people like this who are saying, "You think your Wuji Sword Sect has more people? 5 Poison Sect disciples, follow my lead. Release the poison mist." And they are fighting very hard. Then we see a soldier who is saying, "Commander Feng, shouldn't we step in?" And Feng Feishue is saying, "There aren't any real experts here. Let them tire themselves out. I rarely get time off, and yet I'm dragged out here to maintain order. I'm not cleaning up after that Gu brat's mess. Let the enthusiastic ones handle it." Then we see Gu Feng and he is saying, "Who's the bastard talking behind my back again? Steward Wu, has the recruitment notice been posted?" And the servant says, "Yes, young master. All 206 shops have put it up as per your instructions. But we've been burning through our recent spirit stone income to cover this. Our accounts are already tight." And Gu Feng says, "Do you know what's the most important thing in business?" And Jiolong says, "It's talent." And Gu Feng says, "That's completely wrong. In business, advertising is key." But Jiolong says, "If you want to kill someone, young master, just say it directly. No need to be so roundabout. What ads? Which cultivator belongs to that faction? Kill them casually if you must." And Gu Feng says, "It's all about fighting and killing with you. Business thrives on harmony, don't you get that? By the way, how's the progress on the construction of the new military camp? In a few days, those 1,000 soldiers promised by Lu Xun will be here." So the servant says, "The workers have been instructed to speed up. It should be completed in 2 or 3 days. But Commander Feng seems to have some concerns." And Gu Feng gets a little surprised on hearing this. Then the scene shifts. And Feng Feishue is telling Gu Feng, "Young master, the new camp is being built according to the standard for 1,000 soldiers." And Gu Feng says, "There are facilities for accommodation, training, logistics, and internal management. Moreover, we've included an underground prison and various defensive formations for detention and interrogation. The overall design is comprehensive. What seems to be the issue?" And Feng Feishue says, "Actually, there's no issue with the plan. It's just, personally, And Gu Feng says, "I get it. You want a luxurious private quarters? No problem, we can expand on the left side of the standard camp." But Feng Feishue refuses, and Gu Feng says, "Then you want an armory?" That's in the second phase of the design. And Feng Feishue holds Gu Feng's hand and she says, "Young Master Gu, it's not those things. The camp only has a men's bathing area." And Feng Feishue comes very close to Gu Feng. And seeing this she gets shy. And leaves Gu Feng's hand, and she says, "After training, my soldiers and I always need to wash up and change. Without proper facilities, it's really inconvenient." And Gu Feng says, I see, Commander Feng, why not come to my pavilion to wash up? We've got everything here. Baths, massages, full body care, facial treatments, even more." Then we see someone he is wearing a black cloth. And then a soldier sees him and he says, "Who goes there?" The pavilion is a sealed estate for the sequence. Unauthorized individuals are not permitted entry. And we see that it is Li Zongwen. And she is saying, "It's me, Li Zongwen from the Artifact Division. I have urgent matters to discuss with the young master." And the soldier says, "Please wait here while I inform the steward." And then Gu Feng flies and collides with the soldier. And he falls on top of the soldier, and he is saying, hee hee, it's quite lively here, isn't it? Hey! Aren't you that? Li Zongwen's what brings you here? And Li Zongwen says, young master? The artifact project you ordered. It's finished. The Immortal Spirit Communicator. It's ready for mass production. And Gu Feng gets surprised and he says, is it really completed? And Gu Feng starts looking at the smartphone, and he gets very surprised. And he is thinking, from the looks of it, it seems interesting. But I wonder if it really fulfills my design. And Gu Feng is shaking him and looking at him, and he is saying, heh, so. How do you turn this thing on? So Li Zongwen says, turn on a chicken? Why would you use an artifact to operate a chicken? And Gu Feng says, it has nothing to do with chickens. I meant, how do you use it? How do you operate it? And Li Zongwen says, young master, you just need to channel your spiritual energy into it. And Gu Feng is looking at the smartphone carefully. And Gu Feng gets very confused after seeing the smartphone. And we see that a loading option is visible on the smartphone. Then Li Zongwen is saying, it was you who mentioned before. About establishing branding. And then a soldier says, the artifact speaks on its own? Could it be a top-tier treasure with a sentient artifact spirit? And Gu Feng says, top-tier treasure? Ha! That's nothing. Soon, the entire cultivation world will line up to buy young master's Immortal Spirit Communicator. All the functions I mentioned, no issues with any of them, right? And Li Zongwen says, all tested and functioning perfectly. Voice communication, enabled by the sound storage array. Calling capabilities via the transmitting array. Visual display through the Mystic Light Mirror Array. Total cost is around 300 low-grade spirit stones. Even the shared flying sword function is fully operational in the beta version. Additionally, here, as per your design, I've added a small spirit gathering formation that connects directly to the embedded Grand Heaven Soul Snaring Array. I'm not entirely sure why you wanted to include this demonic cultivator's soul siphoning array that absorbs other spiritual power, but with mass-produced wooden puppets, enhanced precision in puppet limbs, and modular array setups. And after listening to Li Zongwen's words, Gu Feng is thinking, the most critical part has been resolved. It's done! Then Gu Feng pats Li Zongwen's head and tells her, well done! Now don't pry into things that don't concern you, kid. And Li Zongwen becomes very happy with this, and she is saying, rewards and all. It's not necessary. I just enjoy working on these things. My colleagues at the department are great too. But when she looks ahead, Gu Feng is not in front of her. And Gu Feng is running very fast, and he is saying, I'm soaring to the heavens. Nan! And seeing this, Li Zongwen is very surprised. But she also thinks, the young master likes my creations. And Gu Feng is thinking while looking at the smartphone, the prototype from this morning is fully functional. We should be ready for the first full-scale test. Then Gu Feng starts shouting Jiulong's name very loudly, and Jiulong hears this and says, stop shouting, I'm here. And Gu Feng is thinking, now, the most important component. My life soul imprint. As long as I use this as a medium to link myself to the Grand Heaven Soul Snaring Array, today, I'll run a test, and when the spirit energy network is fully established, whenever someone uses their spiritual energy to operate the Immortal Spirit Communicator, I'll be able to quietly siphon off a small amount of their spiritual power. Then Gu Feng starts using his spiritual power, and starts putting his power inside the smartphone. And he is thinking, although the energy taken each time will be minuscule, as long as the user base is large enough, it won't be a problem at all. Step 1. Make sure every cultivator in Howren City has one. But before that, there seems to be a rather serious issue that I need to deal with. After this, the scene shifts. And we see a place where someone's voice is coming from, and this voice is of Li Zongwen. And she is speaking to Gu Feng, young master. I won't dare do it again. After some time, Li Zongwen is speaking, tonight, I'll immediately replace young master image as requested. And Gu Feng comes to her and says to her, good, you'll be in trouble if you try to act naughty again next time. And Gu Feng takes out something, which means it is a kind of cloth. And he gives it to Li Zongwen and is speaking to her. By the way, here's a new silk scarf from the southern borders. It's rare, so I'm giving it to you. Get some rest and don't stay up too late tonight. And holding that thing, Li Zongwen becomes very happy because that thing is a gift for her which someone has given her for the first time. And she becomes very emotional. And she is saying, how did anyone else know it was my birthday? I'm so happy. Then the system says to Gu Feng, he didn't know you'd spend so many spirit stones just to make a little girl smile? And Gu Feng says to the system, you know nothing. Once immortal spirit communicators are widespread, and apps like shared flying swords, lone treasure pavilions, and other conveniences are launched, I won't need to cultivate at all anymore. Let me, the so-called useless heir only known for trivial skills, ruthlessly harvest the entire cultivation world's resources. To break through to the Golden Core realm in just a year? Ha! After this the scene shifts. And we see the scene of the next day, where Gu Feng is with Feng Feishue, and Gu Feng is laughing, and seeing his laughter Feng Feishue is saying, what a silly name, no idea why you're so happy about it. And Nalin Yuan is with Feng Feishue, and he is saying, young master, the name you gave is elegant yet unassuming, grand yet simple, and destined for greatness. So Gu Feng says, all right. Did you prepare the uniforms as I requested? And Nalin Yuan says, I've fulfilled your orders without fail. The finest textile academy completed them all today. Then a soldier comes to Gu Feng, and seeing him Gu Feng says, this one. It matches the design perfectly, right? And Nalin Yuan looks at Fa Feishue and says, yes, young master. However, I must return to some pressing military matters. I'll leave you and Commander Fan to inspect the base. And we see that both the soldier and Nalin Yuan are leaving. And Gu Feng and Feng Feishue are watching them both leave. Then Gu Feng comes close to Feng Feishue, and seeing this Feng Feishue also gets very surprised, and Gu Feng smilingly tells her, oh, nothing much. Just checking if the uniforms fit well with the military attire. I had special new uniforms tailored for you and the soldiers. When the review starts, change into it first to set an example. And we see that Gu Feng has given that thing to Feng Feishue, and Feng Feishue is very surprised to see it. And Gu Feng is leaving from that place. And the next day we see that many soldiers gather at one place. And seeing all those people, someone is thinking, what a fierce group of soldiers. Though it's a bit too shabby. Then we see that Feng Feishue is looking at Gu Feng secretly, and Gu Feng sees Feng Feishue and says to her, Commander Feng, come up for the review. And when Gu Feng notices Feng Feishue is very surprised. Then Gu Feng is saying to Feng Feishue, we're giving everyone new uniforms today. If you, the commander, don't set an example, how can I implement this properly? And Feng Feishue says, this kind of clothing? How can I wear this in public? Then she slowly starts coming forward, and she is taking Gu Feng's name, but her legs are trembling. And she is saying, if it weren't for the soldiers. And Feng Feishue gets a little confused. Then Gu Feng tells the soldiers, begin the parade. And as soon as the soldiers hear this, they get very excited, and they start shouting loudly, and they are all saying, the new Qianlong army pays respects to the young city lord. Pay respects to the General Feng. And Gu Feng is thinking, all of these soldiers practice the Qianlong body refining technique provided exclusively by the Gu family. Though the technique isn't the best, they've reached the peak of qi condensation, and some are even in the golden core stage. With this group, there's great potential. And a soldier starts shouting very loudly, and he is saying, brothers, let me keep this brief. From today onward, you are no longer just subordinates of the Qianlong army of Haoran City. From today onward, your honor, your life and death, everything will be tied to me, Gu Feng. And Gu Feng is saying to them, your fate and mine are bound together. Now listen to my order. Put on the robes laid out before you. And all the soldiers are looking at Feng Feishue attentively, and Feng Feishue is also looking like them. And then someone says, from the moment you don those robes, you will be part of the new army I'm building. You will be my brothers in life and death. As my brothers, you will never go hungry or be without proper clothing. Since we are now brothers, We share not just life and death but also fortune. And we see that Gu Feng's servant is running inside. And Gu Feng is saying, I, Gu Feng, am a man of fairness. Anyone who works hard for me will never be mistreated. I know many of you are still loyal to your old units and commanders. That's fine. Forced loyalty is meaningless. Those who want to follow me, step forward and take spirit stones. And then Fa Fei Shui says, take as much as you can. We will share in glory and heroship together. For those who do not wish to follow, I will not force you. I will consider our paths crossing as fate and bid you well. From here on, life and death will follow destiny. The choice is yours to make. Gu Feng, I hope I haven't misjudged you. And Gu Feng says, I want to create a world where everyone is born equal. And Fang Fei Shui is completely shocked to hear this. Then we see the scene after some time. Some soldiers and Fa Fei Shui are going outside. And we see the servant. Who is giving money to the poor children? Then Gu Feng is saying the same thing to Fang Fei Shui as before, right? This new army shall be called Jinyui. And Gu Feng gives Fang Fei Shui a token, which she holds. And she is looking at Gu Feng carefully. And Gu Feng is saying to her, ah, and one more thing. Your room has been prepared by the maidservants. The doors of the pavilion close at high hour every day, and Fang Fei Shui is saying, Commander-in-Chief of the Jinyui, Fang Fei Shui, respectfully follows the orders of the young master. And Gu Feng says, no women under my roof are allowed to return late. Understood? And Fa Fei Shui says I have understood completely. After this, the next day we see that a man comes to Gu Feng. And seeing him, Gu Feng is thinking, even Qi condensation stage cultivators dare to show up? How did they even get qualified? And then some people come, who start taking that man out, and that man is saying, wait, I can still show my sword flying technique. But Gu Feng's men do not listen to anything and take him out. And Gu Feng also says that is there any next man? And we see that a beautiful girl comes in front of them, and she is saying, esteemed judges, I have a dream, and that is. But Gu Feng refuses after seeing that girl, and he calls another man. And a man comes, who spits fire from his mouth. But Gu Feng does not like this man either, and so he calls the next man. And another man comes in front of him. Even after seeing him, Gu Feng refuses him. Then many more people come, whom Gu Feng refuses. Then after some time Gu Feng is now very bored. And he is saying, is there no talent left in Haoren City? Let's just see the last one and call it a day. Then the servant calls candidate number 250. And we see that a bald man comes, and he is saying, coming, is this the interview site? I am Taoist Hui Xiao. I greet you, young master Gu. I've often heard that the young master is majestic, with boundless power. Now that I see you in person, it's indeed true. But Gu Feng says enough. What skills do you have? Show them quickly, don't waste my time. So the bald man says I am well versed in astronomy and geography, knowledgeable in the 5 elements, 8 trigrams, and skilled in countless strange arts. I can calculate fate and decipher the mysteries of the universe. What would the young master like me to demonstrate? And Gu Feng says, you're quite impressive, aren't you? And the servant is saying, where did this swindler come from? Before our young master gets angry, you better get lost. But then Gu Feng stops the servant and says to him, if you're so capable, how about you demonstrate your divination skills and tell me my fortune? And the bald man laughingly says, does the young master wish to know about your future prospects or your romantic fate? And Gu Feng says, you decide. But if you're wrong, don't blame me if I get angry. Then the bald man says, no need to worry, young master. As the son of the city lord, your future is naturally bright and limitless. So, I'll take the liberty of predicting your romantic fate. Then he takes out a turtle scale, and throws it on the ground. And Jiolung finds something interesting seeing this. And the bald man says that now it is about to start. And he throws the turtle scale upwards, but the scale breaks into many pieces and we see that all the turtle scales fall down. And seeing this the bald man also gets a little surprised, but Gu Feng is saying, speak without fear. But the bald man is laughing and saying, the first half of the reading is auspicious, but the second half is filled with great misfortune. And Feng gets angry on hearing this, and he says, "A big fortune? If you can explain yourself, I'll have you thrown in the dungeon as a swindler." But then the bald man uses his other skill, and he says, "Please don't rush, young master. Look at this. Even with gold, one cannot buy a love poem, silent feelings unspoken. Joys and sorrows vanish in a day, one tribulation leads to sacrifice on the path of yin and yang." And Feng gets surprised on hearing this, and he says, "Now even scammers are getting poetic?" And this is where this part ends. If you want to see the next part, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the like button and at least comment so that I can know your reaction whether you like to see this kind of manhwa or not.